Today, another episode of In the Legal Know. We are talking about something that affects nearly every family, but often gets pushed to the bottom of the to-do list. What is that? Your last will and testament. It is one of the most important documents you will ever sign, yet small mistakes can create some big, costly problems for the people you love the most. So, joining me today is attorney Vincent J. Russo from the Russo Law Group. And you're here to break it all down for us. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. And you're so right. Costly mistakes, little mistakes can cost the family not only money, but hardship with families fighting with each other when a mistake occurs.
All right. So, for someone that says, I don't really need a will, like I don't have that much money or assets or anything like that, what do you say to them?
Well, the first question I ask them is, are the assets that you have important to you, no matter what the size of those assets are or the value of them? And the answer is always yes. Yeah, it is important, your personal effects, your bank account, what you have. And so a will is not just only for the wealthy. Everyone should have a will. Here are some of the benefits of a will. It's all about control. A will allows you to control who decides who receives your belongings, your assets, who's going to take care of your minor children, who's going to manage your affairs when you're not here. And so without a will, the state will decide who inherits your assets. Well, you don't want that. So you want to have control, have a will.
So basically, if I don't have one and I pass away,
right,
the state then gets
the state has a whole list of who the beneficiaries are, and if none of those people are living, the state will take the money. Happily.
Oh, yeah, happily is the key word to that. So, okay, so what if you do have a will? What are some common mistakes?
Okay, so a common mistake would be to have an outdated will. So it's not uncommon for someone to come into my office and I say, do you have a will? And they say, yeah, I'm taking care of everything. Well, when did you sign it? Well, 25 years ago. Maybe they remarried because they lost a spouse. Or maybe there are grandchildren now in the picture. Maybe the people they appointed as fiduciaries, executors, or trustees are no longer around. Or maybe they're disabled. So life changes occur. And so it's really, really important to keep your will up to date.
That makes such a good point right there. And speaking of executors, how important is it to make the right choice when choosing someone that's going to do that?
Yeah, this is where we see so many problems, is the selection of the wrong person, the executor. It's not uncommon for a family to say to me, clients say to me, well, I'll appoint my oldest child. And then when I ask, well, is your older child good with finances? Well, no, they're not. Are they organized? No, not really. Do they get along with the other siblings? Well, some of them. It's a mistake to put someone in that position. So being an executor is a job. It's dealing with filing with the court, paying debts, managing and distributing assets, communicating with the beneficiaries. Select the right person in the family, not just because they're the oldest. Or they're a male versus a female even. And if there is no family member, then look to professionals to come in and do it properly for the family.
So I say, okay, I have my will, and that's it, right? Everything's taken care of.
Well, that's probably the biggest mistake of all, right?
Of course I'd make that mistake,
Is that I'm taken care of, I have a will. Well, let's look at the assets you have. Well, I have real estate, joint with right of survivorship, which means when I pass away, the other owner becomes the owner. That's outside the will. A joint bank account with right of survivorship is outside the will. A life insurance policy where you name a beneficiary is outside the will, or an IRA, 401k, annuities, pay on debt accounts that you can have with a brokerage firm. So you got to align your will and all the beneficiaries you're naming in these assets that pass outside of your will to make sure it all makes sense. I mean, we had a client who unfortunately named a child, a 1-year-old, as the beneficiary of a $1 million life insurance policy. They didn't expect to die. They thought they'd be older when they passed away. Unfortunately, the person passed away. The spouse didn't inherit the million. The 1-year-old inherited the million. I don't think that was the right plan.
Yeah,
for
do they
them.
have to hold that money until they turn 18
yes,
or whatever?
and then the court
Oh,
appointed
boy.
someone else to oversee everything. Nightmare.
All right, so well, I've heard people write. Can you write your own will? Can you do it online? Can you have AI do it? Are these all bad ideas?
Well, you can do it, all right? But what a mistake. I mean, this is a disaster waiting to happen, because if you do a will, you have to make sure it's properly executed. If it's not, it's invalid. Or you may have provisions in there that aren't clear, and now family are going to fight over what does it mean. Or maybe you didn't have a contingency provision, like the what-ifs of life. What if that person is not alive? Who's the backup beneficiary? What happens if the fiduciary is not available, the executor? Who's the backup? So you really should take the time and do it right, and have a professional, an estate planning, elder law attorney step in.
But that's what I was thinking too while you were saying all that. Like, could I say, yeah, in my mind, I feel like I could check all the boxes, but then there's always boxes that legally maybe just we don't know, as an individual. So that's why we need help. Your final takeaway for viewers, like your last piece of advice.
Yeah, I touched on it. Don't go it alone. All right, because going it alone can lead to mistakes, and those mistakes lead to extra costs and hardship. A will is an act of love for your family. It's allowing you to leave assets and provide for them and have a legacy. So don't wait if you don't have a will. Don't go it alone. Make sure your plan is clear, what you want. So, take some notes to the attorney that you see and say, this is what I want, this is what I'm thinking about, and then review your estate plan regularly.
All good advice. All right, so tell everybody where they can maybe find some more resources, and also call you guys to see, if the Vincent Law Group would want to.
Yeah, we have a very robust website with lots of resources. We have planning guides you can download for free at vjrussolaw.com.
All right. We covered a lot. It was so concise, and I learned a lot, and I think our viewers did too. Vincent, always a pleasure.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thanks.
you.